Cycling cheating stories Tour de France. There is a significant likelihood that the proverb "cheaters never thrive" originated from the long list of unethical behavior that occurred during the Tour de France. The riders' level of deceit throughout the years is beyond comprehension. Nevertheless, the real mystery is how they thought they could get away with it in the first place. These tales only come to light because the people who committed the crimes in question were apprehended in the act. Some of the crimes include spiking bottles, wearing wigs, using water bottles packed with lead, and catching trains. So keep an eye on this video because we will be talking about cycling cheating stories during the Tour de France. Before continuing, please ensure that you have subscribed to Cycling News Live. And therefore, without any more preamble, let's get right into it. 1904. Even though it was only the second edition of the event, riders were already getting sneaky during what is still considered to be one of the most scandalous tours in the history of the sport. A variety of infractions of the rules resulted in the issuance of fines, including, but not limited to, riding in the slipstreams of cars, receiving tows from riders who were not even competing in the event, and while spectators still play a part in racing today, their impact is nowhere near as significant as it was in 1904 when hundreds of fans of the breakaway stage leader, André Fauré, impeded the path of the rest of the peloton. During the course of the race, a total of 9 riders were kicked out for participating in unlawful activities. These activities included hopping trains and hitching rides in cars. Complaints about the latter from other cyclists finally led to the disqualification of every stage winner, as well as the top 4 finishers, despite the fact that the precise reasons for the disqualification were never formally made public. 1978. We have made an effort to keep clear of doping stories on this video, primarily due to the fact that there is a list of such stories that are longer than our arm, but also because such stories are typically quite humorless. Nevertheless, the tale of Michel Pollentier, a former national champion of Belgium, is so incredible that we are compelled to include it in this video. After Pollentier won the stage up to Alpe d'Huez and took the yellow jersey, he attempted to deceive the doping controllers by using an intricate network of tubes and a condom. After placing the condom in his armpit and filling it with the pee of another person, he ran a tube down his shorts in order to give the idea that he was urinating on himself. He would have been able to get away with it if it weren't for that one naughty rider who threw a wrench into his cheating system and brought unwanted attention to the situation. The hilarious way in which the game was given away by the doctor was when he asked that Pollentier remove his jersey. 1963. Even though Jacques Anquetil is a Tour de France legend, he was not immune to engaging in certain dishonest tactics during his career. Back in his day, the regulations did not allow riders to switch bikes unless they were experiencing some kind of mechanical difficulty. Therefore, when the Frenchman's team director, Raphael Gimignani, decided that he could benefit from a lighter bike for the Col de la Fourcade, which was for stage 17, he instructed a mechanic to cut through a gear cable while pretending that the cable had cracked. Anquetil won a sprint victory over major opponent Federico Bahamontes after the bikes were exchanged back at the peak, catapulting himself to the lead of the general classification and putting him one step closer to winning his 4th Tour de France title. A decision was made prior to the 1964 race to do away with the rule that prohibited riders from switching bikes. 1913. It would be unfair to label Eugene Christophe a cheat for his involvement in this affair, yet the point bears restating. On the descent into Sainte-Marie-de-Campana, the Frenchman's fork broke, and he was forced to abandon his chances of winning the Tour. Carrying his bicycle on his back, he trekked more than 10 kilometers to reach the town, where a young girl sent him in the direction of a blacksmith. Back in those days, riders were responsible for their own maintenance and repairs, so Christophe decided to fix the fork himself with some assistance from the blacksmith. However, as a result of his actions, he was punished since he had enabled a young kid to pump the bellows on his behalf. After stuffing bread into his pockets, he continued climbing 2 more summits by himself before completing the Tour in 7th place. They aren't made nearly as well as they once were. 1911. The race favorite Paul Duboc passed out in the middle of stage 10, and it is believed that he had a food illness as a result of a bottle that had been tainted. At the time, everyone assumed that Duboc's chief adversary, Gustave Garrigou, was the one who committed the crime. When the race came through Duboc's hometown of Rouen, which is located in the same region as Garrigou, the race organizers gave Garrigou a disguise consisting of a wig and dark glasses so that he could pass through the city without being recognized. Many individuals believe that climber Francois Lafourcade was more likely to have been responsible now than they did in the past. 2010. Even while it may not be everyone's definition of cheating, Alberto Contador's onslaught on race leader Andy Schleck After the Luxembourg rider had slipped his chain on stage 15's climb of Porte des Bals is one of the most contentious non-doping scandals in recent history. It was a point of contention among the sport's most illustrious competitors, and while many people maintain that everything is fair in the world of bike racing, the Spaniard said that he was unaware of the device that gave many people a bad taste in their mouths. In the end, Schleck was unable to keep up with Contador and lost the stage by 39 seconds. Coincidentally, this was the same margin by which Contador won the overall competition in Paris. Revenge, while not precisely sweet, would be Schleck's 18 months later when Contador was stripped of his title due to a positive drug test for clenbuterol during the second rest day of the 2010 race. During a ceremony in 2012, Schleck finally acknowledged his lateness in accepting the yellow jersey. 1960. During the 1960 Tour de France, the Frenchman Roglic suffered a tragic accident when he overshot a bend on the Col des Perjures when he was chasing down his opponent Gaston Nicini. He fell into a gully and broke his back. He placed the blame on his team mechanic, claiming that his brakes hadn't been working and blaming him for leaving oil on the wheels. He pinned the blame on that mechanic, but medical professionals quickly discovered the true cause of the accident. Rivier's blood contained an excessive amount of medications, and as a result, his hands moved too slowly to handle the vehicle's brakes. In a later statement, he admitted that he had been abusing drugs. 1905. Louis Trousselier's competitors raced past him when he suffered a puncture just a few kilometers into the 7th stage to Bordeaux, leaving him with the possibility of riding the next 200 kilometers alone. However, the rage that pushed him to victory was obscured when it was reported that he shattered the inkstands that his fellow competitors were going to use to sign in. He ended up winning the stage with a sprint finish, but the fury that carried him there was overshadowed. 1953, the so-called sticky bottle method, in which riders take draws from team cars by holding on to bottles held by managers, has become a socially accepted form of cheating in today's cycling world. But there was something a little more menacing about the big bottles of 1953 that Jean Roglic had. The featherweight Frenchman, who was not known for his descending, is reported to have taken on a lead-filled water bottle at a mountain summit, which helped him drop like a stone on the way back down. The next day, he would receive what was coming to him when he was involved in an accident that caused him to lose the yellow jersey and ultimately force him to quit the race. 1906 was the fourth tour, and the misbehavior of the spectators was the factor that ultimately determined the outcome. Fans spread nails on the road with the intention of assisting their favorite rider more than a century before those who sabotaged the Etape Caledonia. The cyclists didn't exactly set the world on fire either, as the same train-catching shenanigans that plagued them in 1904 led to the elimination of 4 riders from the competition. Do Tour de France riders still cheat? What's your opinion on this topic? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below, and that's going to do it for today's video, guys. We certainly hope that you enjoyed it, and we would like to ask for you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more amazing content from us. Thank you for spending time with us today, and we'll do it again soon. Thanks for watching.